What's the best? Tell me a story about the best piece of advice you have ever received. Well, I just gave you the best piece of advice, strongest name ever, and you don't really appreciate it. Why are you
Okay.
quiet? This is your thing that you
All
brought to the
right.
table, Joe.
The best piece of advice that I have ever received is always talk to your wife. It doesn't matter when times are good, when times are bad. Always talk, because Kurt, you're giving me a funny look like that's bad advice. That's excellent advice.
No, I'm a little surprised it doesn't come naturally to you anyway.
I I mean it does, but there are
I mean,
times
Joe was raised in the Mormon South. It was
Now,
get in the kitchen. I'll let you have your shoes because I'm nice.
there
I
are
mean,
times when you don't want to talk, and often those are the times where, I mean, sometimes you do need to cool off and collect your thoughts, but those are the times when you really ought to be talking the most. And so, yeah, I think that it's excellent advice, and I think it's advice that a lot of people really need to take to heart in all relationships, but especially in marital relationships. Is you need to learn to be an effective communicator.
yeah, I mean, back in the day, they used to call that "don't go to bed angry." Well,
Yeah.
because effectively, the way you don't go to bed angry is by communicating, right? I mean, you get it all out before you go to sleep. You know, you just deal with it. But
Steven, what if she tells you she's tired and wants you to go away because you talk all the time?
fair, like,
Uh,
yeah,
what?
I could see that happening in Charles's family.
I mean, Charles doesn't even have to have anyone else present. He just talks.
Well, and to be fair, Aaron just says, "Go away."
I'm like, that's why she got another cat. She was sending a message. Charles's face.
hmm
Oh no.
This is supposed to be.
The cat is a sore spot for Charles.
This is
My
supposed to
bad.
be like a Daddy-O's Anonymous group, and here you are bringing up trauma. Uh, so, Kurt, what was the piece of advice you got?
It was funny. I was thinking about this because I had to really think about it, and it really was from an early boss that I had, who I hated. I hated him, just like he was a really not a great boss, but he did have one great piece of advice. And because I had asked him at one point, "Hey, I need to plan a vacation to go back home," because I was in California at the time. And I said, "So when is it a good time for the company?" And he said, "It is never a good time for the company. So always plan when it's a good time for you."
That's a good one.
And I took that, and really that was one of the best things he ever said, and that changed my perspective on how to approach my time off, because really that solidified the fact that companies don't actually care about you, and nor should they.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So anyhow,
That's why I treat my PTO request, my time off request, as I'm informing you I will not be here.
yes,
You need to make other plans.
yeah,
And
yeah.
those are
Now,
within policy. Yes.
if that's within policy, yeah. So,
Yeah.
like at my company, we always say, like, we say yes to everything, except what I ask for a courtesy is give me 2 weeks notice to take time off. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, I go through in January. I go through for the year and mark down every one that I know that I already need off.
Then
'Cause
that's
my
Yeah.
wife is really big about planning. Like I've already got requests in for the end of December.
yep.
So
Yep. No, and that's just courtesy. That's good. That's being a good employee.
yeah,
And it depends on your field and industry. Like, in EMS, we required a month's advance because it's a little bit different than making cogs or you're not greeting somebody at Walmart or whatever. But yeah, ultimately, as Steven says, I've never been denied PTO. Same. I mean, I always gave people off as long as they gave me some notice. And it's like,
Right.
well, can I have off tomorrow? Well, I had a policy for that. There's a dozen, more. It was hundreds of workers. There's so many people out there. Swap with them. We made a way that you can take off tomorrow, but if you want me to approve it, I need more of a heads up because we planned that far out. But yeah, it is a courtesy, and I like that we both said it was, as long as it's in policy and how things work. So I've definitely seen some tip of the nose thinkers. Like, you can't see past the tip of your nose, right? Go, I'm just letting you know I'm not going to be there. It's like, well, then I'm letting you know you're not going to have a job the next day, because we have to work together. It's not one sided, but yeah. Steven says, I've worked nothing but IT jobs. I did get denied a day off when I worked at CVS, and that sucked. Yeah. And that's what I've tried to teach my kids. See, tonight's been a whole teaching your kids thing, so many times we've gone through. And it's man, that's something we should talk about. Kurt and I could really lead the conversation on that. And Joe, you'd ask questions and give some ideas, but about guiding your kids into the workforce and helping them understand things that they might not, interpreting things that they might not understand. Like Crosby's 19. She's got offered yet another management position at another company, a small one. It's not like she's suit and tying it or anything, and I'm like, girl, you've got my genes in you. You are a natural born leader, but you got to stop taking these. Anyway, I digress. We could talk about
that. That's a great topic for another episode, though.
Exactly. Yeah, but you might need to consult a doctor, because you shouldn't be eating genes.
Right.
Denim tastes good. You never picked at the holes in your jeans and chewed on the threads? Just me? Okay.
Yeah, just you. That does explain a lot, though.
Yeah.
Explains absolutely nothing other than gods do what they want. Honestly, I was racking my brain. I'm going, I don't really remember getting much advice, like what I would consider advice, through my growing up. It was a lot of preaching at me and a lot of telling me what I should do and shouldn't do and all this other, but not really, hey, this is something that will help your life. Even in EMS, it was shut up and do it. The EMS I came up through. So I was like, well, maybe it was, do it, because at some point somebody said, do as I say, not as I do. And that kind of goes about hypocrisy. And okay, I did take that to heart, but really, truthfully, came to mind when I watched the movie Bad Boys when it first came out in 1996. And they played a song in it, and it's just a throwaway overview of the city of Miami as the camera is painting over, transitioning to another scene. But they played Tupac. It's You and Me Against the World, and that just hit, and that's what I took into my marriage, and that literally has gotten us through pretty much everything. It didn't matter, because early on, I don't know about you guys, but early on, my in-laws and my outlaws all wanted to have blah, 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 blah. And I sat down with my wife, like, no, it's me and you against the world right here, right now. We have to agree to that. No matter what happens out there, they don't live here. They don't understand here. It is just outside advice. And that has worked. And, got us through a really hard bankruptcy.
And that's biblical. When you get married, you're supposed to cleave unto your spouse and no one else. And I think that's part of it is having a united front with your spouse. And it very well is, in a lot of cases for people, there will be times when that means against your own family members when they're coming at you. Yeah. I've heard way too many stories of in-laws and, as you put it, outlaws who try to divide you, and you've got to stay strong.
Yeah. Random Kid says, never order someone to do something you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. That is a good one. That's a good one. I had to work past the guilt of making people show up to work at 4 a.m. because I didn't want to, but not wanting to is different than not being willing to.
Yes.
Because I definitely did that for a long time. I just didn't want to do it anymore. But yeah, so yeah, as Joe brought it back to the Bible, Kurt, it was Tupac, chapter 4, verse 13. Unity against the world is how that worked. So
I liketh big butts.
Yeah. And I cannot lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Steven says never trash talk your spouse to other people, particularly to other family. That's another good one. Yeah, no, we just badmouth each other to our faces. That's always fun.